Benchwarmers. I'm Alex Anderson.
I'm Daniel Brown.
And Daniel, most importantly, to start things off, Derek Carr has retired from the National Football League.
Yeah, so it wasn't a move to get out of New Orleans in terms of trying to get a trade or being upset with what the Saints were doing in terms of looking for a quarterback. He actually had a shoulder injury that forced him to retire. Reports that it was a damaged rotator cuff, a labral tear, and rather than going under the knife, not being sure if it was going to be able to recover and get back to Derek Carr's standard of play, he decided to hang up after an 11-year career. So we wish him well, his family. Like, as much as flack as Derek Carr has gotten on just on a human level, it's got to be disappointing.
Yep.
It didn't work out in New Orleans. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. It wasn't his best performance as an NFL quarterback, probably more remembered for his days as a Raider. The one bright spot, I think the highlight of his career is week 2 against the Cowboys.
Yep.
That game was amazing, and then it just went kind of downhill from there. An inauspicious end to Derek Carr's career in New Orleans, but thanks for the memories.
Okay, you know what? I tossed it to you first because I knew that you would be nice and you would be you would put things into perspective, and you would reminisce about the good time, not the good times, the good time.
The good time.
And
twice. They won twice. They had 2 games and then, the losing streak.
I say thank God. I mean, thank God. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The salary cap hell is gone.
To an extent.
To an extent, they can do something. We can move forward. Is Rattler the guy? Probably not. Is Shuck the guy? Probably not. But at least these things can be figured out much faster without the Band-Aid that is Derek Carr. I don't particularly blame Derek Carr for the Saints' failures. I think in a better scenario, he plays much better. He's much healthier, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't protect him. There was no clear plan there. He played under Dennis Allen. I mean, that was just the timing was terrible for him. I think he seems like a really awesome dude.
Yeah.
And again, I really don't blame him. I think the organization failed him. I think the organization has failed a lot since Drew Brees retired.
Yeah.
And so I think that hopefully this accelerates some of that because Derek Carr was glue keeping it from being really bad. Yeah. Right. I mean,
Derek Carr wasn't the issue of why the Saints were where they were. It was the Saints have been mediocre for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Really, the tail end of the Sean Payton era. Didn't really have a replacement plan for Drew Brees and a patchwork of salary cap issues. Oh, we're going to push your to a signing bonus so your cap isn't here for a base salary, but then that gets pushed back to dead money 2 years later. So Mickey Loomis' wizardry of cap issues kind of has been an issue as well because you can't sign certain free agents. You can't get as much financial freedom as you want. This does clear it up for next year. Part of why Derek Carr's base salary cap hit was because they pushed a lot of his salary to a roster bonus and then down the line. Well, with him retiring, a lot of that gets wiped off the books for next year. I think I read 1.2 million cap hit this year for the Saints for Derek Carr's money. So that's still on the books. But all in all, a 3-way position battle for a 3-way player battle for the position of starting quarterback. Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, and
Haener,
Jake Haener. So we'll see what happens with that.
We saw what happened with Haener.
We kind of have enough with Haener in terms of like people seeing what's available on film. I'm warming up to Tyler Shuck. It's a mixed bag because you want people to succeed on a macro sense of like,
of course.
I would prefer the Saints to be good than bad, but am I optimistic? No. I'm probably more pessimistic in terms of the future of the Saints in 2025 and beyond. But, I would like to be wrong.
See, I think with Derek Carr as your quarterback, you're going to win some games, right? Regardless of, I mean, because I don't think he was bad.
No, he's a tier 2, tier 3 quarterback.
He's just not Drew Brees.
He's not elite.
A lot of fans, he was the follow-up to Drew Brees. I know not immediately, right? But he was the first big signing they went and got.
He gave the Saints a better chance to win than Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener.
Or Jameis or Taysom or anyone else. And I think that, they didn't win a game without him last year. And I think that he is good enough, when healthy, to get you 8, maybe. You're right? And that's bad because that's where they've been since Drew's final years.
Mediocre.
And so I think that this frees them up to suck. And I think that's good. Because I think they need to suck, Daniel. Because I think for too long, the NFC South has been too bad. And they've been right in that, it's kind of like we talked about the NBA play-in, right? It's where they can, we were 1 win away from the playoffs. We were right there, give us another chance. No, this crap's over with. I think you got a new coach. I think this new coach knows that they're going to stink this year. None of these quarterbacks are going to be good. They don't have anything around them to make them good. No, Olave's hurt week 1. It's going to be terrible.
Right.
But I think that's a good thing because the Saints haven't just stunk out loud in a long time.
Right.
They really haven't, right?
They put themselves in position for the 9th overall pick, which is like once you're in the top 10, you're a bad football team. The Saints were bad.
Yeah,
the Saints
but
were bad
the 9th
last year.
overall does
Shocking.
nothing for you really, especially in this draft.
Right.
I think they stink out loud, and you get Arch Manning, and you change the world.
I think Arch stays in college for 2 years, honestly. He's not going to, unless he blows the doors off, wins the Heisman, wins the national championship, then capitalize off, your high draft stock. But the Mannings have played it cool. Everybody, immediately wanted him to transfer when Quinn Ewers was named the starter. It was like, maybe go back and kind of sit under, some tutelage and get some coaching, or how about old school mentality? And the Mannings have done well for themselves, so I think Arch, whatever they're doing with Arch, I agree with. And
just get Arch the black.
Yeah, it would be great. But
just get it done. I mean, it's meant to be.
Looking into the future, I think he stays 2 years in Texas. So more sucking for the Saints.
And who knows where in 2 years where the Saints will be, right? A magical quarterback's not walking through that door, and it's not Tyler Shuck.
I think they're going to give Kellen Moore's going to have some leg room to work with because they have to know. Gail's showed her loyalty in the past. Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints. She's kept Mickey Loomis around for 15, 20 years at this point.
That's a whole other conversation that we could have. I mean, geez Louise, it's so bad.
That was the big story, NFL story on Saturday. So appreciate the content, Derek Carr.
Yeah, thanks a lot because I didn't know what we were going to lead the show with if it wasn't for that. I know that hand up, I'm an addict. And addicted to watching Saints fans react from local news in New Orleans because it is so dang funny. Yeah. I do kind of feel bad for Carr because from the outside in, it was like, wow, New Orleans really hates this guy. And I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But again, it's not his fault. It is an organizational failure for him and for all of those players. I mean, you look back at Alvin Kamara's career, it's going to be mostly wasted, right? I mean,
yeah.
What did they accomplish with Alvin Kamara? Not that he hasn't been incredible. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been the best player on the Saints roster for the last,
shades of Ezekiel Elliott, right? I mean, kind of the same thing. I mean, Zeke in his prime was unreal. They just didn't win crap.
Yeah.
And
I just feel like the Saints are going to be in no man's land for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Well, you're hanging on to Cam Jordan. You're hanging on to Tyrann Mathieu. And I love Cam Jordan.
Yeah.
There's not a person in New Orleans that doesn't love Cam Jordan.
Okay.
But it's.
I hope he retires a Saint, and I probably will because I don't see many players going after, or many teams going after Cam Jordan.
Right. But okay, so that's Saints talk. A lot of stuff has happened since we last recorded, and we're recording this Monday afternoon. So this is the beginning of my week. So that's probably why I'm a little more salty than usual. I feel that. Yeah, I'm feeling a little salty. The Cowboys, they made a move for George Pickens.
Yeah, George Pickens. That's going to work out swimmingly because he was awesome in Pittsburgh in terms of showing up on time for meetings and not being a thorn in the side for the coaching staff. So yeah, he's going to just fall right in line in the Dallas Cowboys. And in case you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic.
Well, when those problematic players leave Pittsburgh, it always goes well, right?
Yeah.
When they get away from Tomlin.
Antonio Brown.
Won a Super Bowl without Tomlin.
Chase Claypool.
Antonio Brown, Super Bowl champion.
With the Bucs. With the Bucs, yeah. But whatever.
I know. Yeah, but okay. Assuming let's just live in this perfect world where it works out.
It's a good move. He's elite talent. Right. He's going to match well, hopefully, with CeeDee Lamb and give Dak another target to throw to. I'm sure Dak will be pleased. But George Pickens, kind of known as a diva. the spotlight of Dallas is known to bring out the best and maybe worst in some players.
T.O. doing push-ups in his...
Dak Prescott has handled the media attention well. He's had some moments of like consternation with the media. And, you know, maybe a bad game two or here. We'll see who George Pickens really is, whether he's going to be a team player, rah-rah guy, or, man, look at me, where are my touches at? Why is CD getting all this love? Because he's in a contract year,
right,
and he wants to impress and, you know, impress teams. And does the talent outweigh the headache? And for Pittsburgh, the talent did not outweigh the headache at that point, and they shipped him off.
Right, and I think what Pickens, I think the reason the Cowboys probably wanted to take a chance on him is the fact that he has played very well with no option at quarterback.
No.
His best season was 3 different quarterbacks rotating in.
Yeah.
So, you know, Dak obviously gives you that stability, and it could work out. And if it does, huge move for them.
Yeah.
Because they don't have another option that's super reliable other than CD.
And speaking of not having another option, who's their backup quarterback in Dallas right now? Didn't they? Yeah, they signed. This is terrible. We're blanking on the name, but they did sign one backup quarterback.
And that's not here yet to tell us.
Right. So we're blanking on that. But either way,
we
don't want to get to that.
Early.
Yeah, we don't want to get to that backup quarterback situation for the Cowboys. Hopefully, Dak Prescott is healthy, and I'm going to vamp here a little bit. So hopefully, Dak Prescott can stay healthy for an entire season. It hasn't been the case for the Cowboys fandom. And
I'm going to be I'm mad at myself.
So who is it?
Joe Milton.
Joe Milton. Okay.
Yeah, from the Patriots, from Tennessee. They went and got him, huge arm.
Sure.
Great. Yeah.
This is the Benchwarmers for a reason. Sometimes we blank on names.
Yeah, we're bringing the bench energy today. Also, I'd ask you this because I know from a few Cowboys fans in the building, it does seem this way. Do Cowboys fans feel about Dak Prescott like Saints fans felt about Derek Carr?
No, there's like
talk to Stephanie
there's pockets, like you have your Dak faithful. I don't know many Carr faithful that were out there in New Orleans. You had like Carr kind of like Carr apologists in a way. I was a bit of a Carr apologist in a sense, but you had some hate.
Yeah, definitely. From day one.
Carr.
And I think Carr's kind of been that lightning rod.
And yes, Dak Prescott gets a lot of hate. Just put on Twitter and just type in Dak Prescott. And any comment section,
just trying to hold the hot and folks
Facebook,
down.
Twitter, TikTok, I'm sure. Instagram's probably has some hateful comments as well. But
I don't have Instagram.
It
exists.
Yeah.
There's crossover. It's wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Saints, I would be doing cartwheels if the Saints got Dak Prescott. I can promise you that.
And I think we have the advantage of, once you're in the media, you kind of can look at things with a perspective more than just a fan where your entire life is this team. Some people's lives, like their whole week, their whole month is ruined on a result of a game. And they don't look at these players as humans. Remember, they're human beings and they have feelings and all that. So
I've said some bad things about some Buffalo Sabres in my life.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't go there. Including, maybe perhaps sitting one row back from one of their families one time at a game, and then I said some words, and then I looked back and was like, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's real tough. Okay, well, since we did have to record early, I got to get ready for the 3 o'clock, so we can't go too much longer. Apologies there. We'll do an extra long episode next week. That makes our fellas in the booth feel really excited. A few more things before we get to our interview. Great interview, by the way. Tiffany Wood, Calvary head coach. But a few more things. North DeSoto, getting it done. They're going to the state finals. You were there those both days of the season on the line. And why is Luke Delafield the best?
Because he just is, man. He's an old soul trapped in a high school kid's body, and a quote machine. Helped North DeSoto keep their season alive in Game 2 with a complete game pitching performance. I had to leave in Game 3 early against Lutcher. But, hey, 6th inning rally for the Griffins. They're heading to Sulphur. Congratulations. Hopefully they can go ahead and pull it off and pull the two-peat, if you will, for the softball winning and then baseball winning in the same season. So back-to-back, shout out to and the softball players were there where I was standing to film the game. They're into it just as much as anybody else, and they know the game, obviously. Softball and baseball, a lot of it translates in terms of like what you need to do in terms of preparation and everything like that. But shout out to the Griffins for getting it done, representing Northwest Louisiana down there in Sulphur.
And I'm the weirdo that's watching this play out, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, so they can go down and Luke can get a little more championship experience.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the fall, he's going to be ready to go.
And shout out to Cole Corey, by the way.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Cole Corey's my guy. Every time I see Cole Corey, he's,
These guys.
Former Griffins Player of the Week. Got to always shout that out.
But yeah, and I'm sure, I wonder if Luke Delafield's going to be a Griffins Player of the Week next year.
He's got, I don't know, does he have a 3.2 GPA to
qualify?
qualify?
I would imagine he probably does.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems way smarter than me. I'm not going to say you, but certainly he's
a lot of
wiser
people are
than
smart.
me, for
Yeah.
sure. And these kids at North, all these kids that we cover are just fantastic. But those two have been some of our favorites, just because they have such great personalities and they're always down to talk with us and everything. But we're going to talk about LSUS in a little bit because, again, recording early. You mentioned North DeSoto. They got it done in softball. So did Calvary. 5 straight. 7 total. We're going to be reminded from
7.
Coach Wood. So let's get to our interview now with Tiffany Wood, head coach of the Calvary softball team. We now welcome on our first state champion.
First state champion of 2025.
There we go.
Hopefully many more to come.
Hopefully many more to come. Tiffany Wood, the head coach of the Calvary softball team, fresh off of state title 5 in a row, 7 total. You had some time to kind of let it sink in. How are we feeling?
We're feeling great. It is an amazing feeling and all the exciting things that come with it, picking out rings and everything that the kids love to do. So it's a great feeling.
5 in a row, I'm sure it never gets old. But what about this team separates themselves from the 4 prior and maybe the 6 prior from the program as a totality?
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. It never gets old. Each team is special in its own ways and has its own special memories. But this group is, I mean, they're just tough, and that's the best way to put them. Just, go through the loss of a teammate and then to battle back and fight through each day for her. This is a really tough group of kids.
And you took me to the question with the loss of a teammate, Elena Franks, for the team to have a tragedy like that at the start of the season. How did they cope with it? How did they deal with it? And you as a coach and a mother figure as well, you're losing one of your daughters, if you will. What was that processing a loss like that like?
Oh, it was hard. It was really hard. Each day, you just learn to deal with it a little bit easier, a little bit better. Her memory is always there, and she was with us all season long. And that's what I told them from the beginning. It's, everybody grieves a little different. And so some people, it's going to take a little bit longer. Some will be a little shorter. But every day she was in our practice plans. She was just a part of this Team 21 as anybody. And I think that the kids really bought into that, and they understood that, and they liked that. They liked being able to have her with us every day.
And I know, when you suffer a loss, little things can be so comforting. And the choice to have her jersey hanging up in the dugout every game, how helpful do you think that was for the girls and for you?
Oh, I think they liked it. I mean, I liked it. The first few games, it was hard to look over there and know that you're looking at a jersey and not at the person. But as time went on, just to know that her jersey was there and she was still with us. Her fat head, we took a fat head picture down to the state tournament. She rode on the bus, the seat behind me. So just to be able to have all that. And again, the whole goal was to win the 5th state championship for her. That's what she wanted. She talked a lot about it in the fall, is being able to go out her senior year with those 5 state championships. And so to be able to do that and then to continue to have her there, the kids really enjoyed it. I think it gave comfort in them of knowing that physically she's not with us, but really that she is.
And then after every win, you took a picture. Players would hold up her jersey number. A lot of those pictures this year. How many wins total this season?
37.
Wow.
37. So 37 pictures. Are you going to maybe create a collage of all the winning pictures? What's the kind of the thought process of how you're going to collect the memories that you made this season?
Yeah, we're going to get them printed out first. Doing the 2-5 was we always do a W picture where we hold up the W. And this year we knew that every win, every game was to her. And so instead of the W, holding up that 2-5, and it was just, I mean, simultaneously, like the kids were like, yes, let's do it. So we plan to get those printed out. We have a press box that holds a lot of memories of Calvary softball teams before this one, and it'll go up there. It'll be displayed up there in some kind of really cool way.
The community that is Calvary, I think we kind of admire from the outside a bit, covering all the various sports that we do. And I think this is a perfect example of how tight-knit that school is. And what can you say about the community, or really it kind of feels like a family?
Oh, it's definitely a family. I mean, I've been here for 14 years, and Calvary is home. It is absolutely home. It's where my daughter is going to be raised and go to school. And the Calvary family really stepped up. They are always supportive. Administration, teachers, parents, just the Calvary community, anyways. They've always been supportive of our program each and every year. But this year, I mean, they were really there for the kids. They talked with the kids. They prayed with us. They came down. They checked on us. They bought in to the 2-5, Team 21 for number 25. And just the amount of support makes it easier. When these kids can go to school and you have teachers and administration that's there for them, that'll cry with them, pray with them, and just give them a moment when needed or a hug. That means a lot to these kids and to the parents.
And the on-field success has to be fun to experience as a coach. How much fun did these players have this season from their various chants and things that they would do to entertain themselves and the crowd during the game?
Oh yeah, it's a fun group. It is a cheering group. There's a lot of different people that'll start those chants in there. They even made up a new one at the very end, party on the Calvary side. So they really like that. It's a group with a lot of personality, and again, everybody just buying in that dugout and supporting each other. They have a lot of fun with it.
You ever think about wearing any ear protection or headphones when they really start getting loud in there in that dugout? I know from our perspective, it's like, whoa, and we're on down the baseline there.
Occasionally, I know sometimes when I look in there, one of them will be like, shh, 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 wait, that's too much. So they kind of know the look when it's like, I don't know about that. But, you never want to tone down any type of good, positive energy. And so that's what we want. We want good energy. We want cheering. We want supporting teammates. And I want them to be able to be them too.
I know my first time in Sulphur covering it, I was blown away at the sound of all the different fields and everything rocking. It was an adjustment period for sure.
And speaking of that environment in Sulphur, the championship game itself, small ball working for you, multiple ways of scoring runs. That championship game just exploded for your team to eventually end with a run rule victory. How dominant was your team this season, and specifically in that championship atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that atmosphere it's something to experience. No matter which sport's your favorite, it's something to come down there and watch and be a part of. You can hear teams and fans cheering all the way down the road at Pattison Park, the other park they let you practice at. You know when something's going good because it just erupts with loud cries and screams. But the girls, it's nice to have kids who have been down there and who have experienced it and are battle tested in that atmosphere. And so it doesn't phase them near as much. I mean, you're ready for that. In that final game, it wasn't the home runs that got us to win. It was base hits and bunts and squeezes. And we talk a lot in those final four games, our final four playoff games. It is any way that it takes to win, from, hit by pitches, getting walked, squeeze bunts, gap shots, whatever it takes. We want to score runs.
No one perhaps more battle tested at Calvary than your superintendent, Mr. McDowell. I mean, his posts are incredible. Every game, it doesn't matter the sport. He's so supportive. How awesome is it to have a superintendent that goes above and beyond to support you guys? And at what point will he run out of accessories to use in his videos?
We hope never. With Party City closing, I don't know. He might be running low, but he is amazing. He supports not just softball, but the school in general. I mean, from bringing donuts to kids to doing cartwheels. I mean, anything that it can to just get these kids excited and fired up, and post about any and all of our sports and events. Again, from field day to softball state championships, having a supportive and superintendent, and then having a supportive administration from our elementary administration staff to our middle and high school administration staff. They 100% support me. They support my program. They've become real dear friends of mine. And I know, not everybody gets to experience that. Some people have great programs and do not have the support of an administration. And it really means a lot to know that down there at the front office, that all of them have my back and have the support of the program.
So with that administrative support, I'm sure they may have some input on the design of championship rings. How different will ring number 5 in a row be different compared to the prior 4 and the other 2 to that?
We let the seniors kind of get to decide that and see what they like. It's getting fun to have to come up with new designs, to pick out something different, and then to being able to add, this 5th stone for 5 in a row, and to be able to possibly dedicate something to Elena on that. It's going to be a very special ring.
So 5 in a row, that means you've had an entire class that has come up from freshman to senior that's won 1 and then some. The pressure on these incoming freshmen to keep this thing going, I'm sure that's got to be massive.
Yes, it is. And we talk about it. Our big motto this year was embrace the pressure. There is pressure here. There's pressure to win. There's pressure to start. There's a lot of pressure. It comes with a big target on your back. We've had a lot of things. People don't always like to see the same people win. And it just does nothing but fuel our fire, fuel our energy to continue to work. And these kids, they don't want to be the class that doesn't win it. So that right there is huge motivation in itself.
So for you personally, what comes with more pressure, winning a 5th state championship or running field day at the school? I'm sure that had to be tough.
Definitely running field day. Have y'all seen those parents at field day? No, yep. I'm just kidding. I joke that I don't know how many more I have to win to get out of field day. And Mr. McDowell has yet to give me an answer. But they enjoy field day. I enjoy field day, enjoy elementary PE. And so although it might have a little more pressure than that state championship game, they're both fun.
So looking at your roster lineup from this past season, who on the team maybe mirrors the style that you played with in your softball playing days?
Oh, well, softball is so much better. It is. The sport has just evolved so much. There's so many more, talented athletes, pitchers throwing harder. Everything's advanced. We were pitching at 40 feet back when I was in high school, and Southwood alumni. And so we had a great team, and, we had great runs, and usually ran into West Monroe in that playoff win and couldn't quite get past them. But just the sport in general has grown a lot, and these kids have grown. I mean, being able to be more in the weight room, more travel ball opportunities, more private lesson opportunities, more access to facilities. It's just advanced a lot.
Oh yeah, and with that being said, you think back on all your years playing and coaching. Is there one memory that possibly sticks out to you more than any other one?
Oh, there's a few from each year, honestly. There really is. Being able to just have 14 of these teams. So I've been at Calvary 4 years, and being able to make memories with each of them. The first state championship was obviously extremely special. It was the first one you'd worked so hard to get. And then you get the second one, then that back to back. And then we have the 18-19 where we didn't get there, and being put out with COVID. That was tough. That was really hard on those. But this year, and not to just sound redundant, but this year with these kids battling through what they battled through, and pushing through like they did, really takes the cake on, being part of a special group.
You're kind of making me feel old. What year was that first state championship for you?
The first state championship was in 2016.
Okay, I was there, so yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Been a little bit, almost 10 years now.
Yeah, I remember. I was still very inexperienced, didn't know what I was doing, but thankfully you guys made it easy for me. So let's get to some rapid fire. I guess we'll start with kind of our first thing. We always ask, you're done with the season now, you get a little downtime. What are we watching on Netflix or whatever?
Oh, well, right now we're watching softball. I mean, what else is there to watch? The SEC tournament, and then, it's either that or Paw Patrol because I have a 6-year-old.
There we go.
Okay.
So we kind of bounce back and forth.
So the music playlist, what's your go-to album, your go-to artist when Tiffany Wood wants to kind of maybe immerse herself in some sounds other than, softball and Paw Patrol?
Yes. So it's not real crazy. It's just good old country. Blake Shelton, Pandora Station pops on a lot. A lot of country music on the radio or when I go for a run or a walk. A lot of 90s country mixed with some new stuff is on there.
I'm surprised. So Pandora is still a thing, correct? It still runs the same way as it always did?
Let's not make fun of the older generation that's not as high tech in the new technology.
Oh, we were part of the Pandora generation as well.
Oh, totally,
totally.
So, I mean, we got to be close to the same age. But yeah, Pandora was like back when I worked at Sonic Drive-In for 8 years, and man, I had the
Did you
long hair.
rollerblade?
What's up?
Did you skate?
Yeah, I did. And it was that's how. If you wanted to make money, you got to put the blades on and get out there.
You had to. You
skate backwards.
Nobody does that.
You skate backwards. People think you're like pulling a rabbit out of a hat or something. They're just amazed.
Maybe the
that.
ice hockey days helped as well with that?
Yeah, the hockey playing definitely helped with the skating, but that was my thing. But yeah, I had the really long hair back in the day. You wouldn't believe it if you saw it. So I could hide the headphones under the hair, and we had Pandora going 24/7.
That's awesome.
So continuing the country music theme, what's maybe your dream country music concert? Have you been to one where it was like, this just blew me away? Have you had an opportunity to maybe experience that genre kind of full force in a concert setting?
Oh, yeah. Country music concerts are my thing. I love going to concerts from one's local to, one's far away. We've seen Reba in Vegas, Garth Brooks, Blake Shelton here, and we're getting to take, my husband and I are going to take our little girls to a Lainey Wilson concert coming to town in September.
I actually surprised one of our editors yesterday reciting the theme song from the Reba television show. Come on, you got to agree with me here. That's a classic.
It's a good show too, and she was really good in concert, especially in Vegas.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Who's maybe the best performer and singer on the team?
It's got to be Reese Walker. She can put on a show.
Yeah. So
I don't know that we'll be making any like music deals, but she can put on a show.
There you go.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome to hear. So I guess with the road forward, not necessarily rapid fire, but what's the next steps for you? Do you have any vacations planned in terms of outside, the concert coming up with Lainey Wilson, but to maybe get back and relax, take yourself away from the game, your summer ahead for you and this Calvary softball team?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to the beach. We leave May 28th that afternoon, and so that's my time. It's 7 days of just being on the beach. No softball is allowed to be talked on that trip, and then we just get to relax and enjoy it. And then we also take another family vacation to the river in Arkansas for a week, and same thing. I got to remind my dad every year that it's not a business trip, so we don't talk any softball. We just vacation.
And notice how smart she is going to quiet places immediately after Sulphur. That's definitely the move right there.
That's a wise move.
Also not rapid fire, but in the past, I'd say 2-3 years, we've really seen a rise in the interest in women's sports across the country. Mm-hmm. Is that something you've noticed at the high school level? And if so, how awesome is it to see these girls finally getting some more of the respect that they deserve?
Oh yeah, I mean sports have grown. Several years ago when they brought. Am I still there?
Yeah,
yep,
yep,
See me?
yep.
Okay. Several years ago when they brought volleyball into this area, that's been a huge thing. Just adding that for kids, and then again, like the club soccer and different levels that have come along, even from like gymnastics and tumbling and cheer, girls being able to be a part of a lot of things. I know the girls' sports here at Calvary have grown, the increase in numbers and powerlifting and all that. It's great that the girls are getting to find their sport and see what they like and try out different things and find what they're good at.
Well, Tiffany, we also made a little history today. You're our first female guest on the show, so thank you for that. We need to get more. And also, should we just go ahead, assuming we don't get canceled by then, should we go ahead and pencil you in for state championship 6 in a row right here on the Benchwarmers?
Yes, absolutely. Write me down, same time. We'll do it again.
Perfect.
Coach, love to hear it.
Yeah, well, Coach, we appreciate you taking some time out. I know you said you got pictures to get to, so we'll let you get to that. Tiffany Wood, the head coach of the Calvary softball, the champions Calvary softball team. Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all. Thanks for having me.
She was really good.
Yeah, she was great. Softball runs through Stonewall and Linwood Avenue.
Yeah, absolutely it does. So shout out to Coach Tiffany for joining us. Let's do our sock check before we go. Here we go. Mine's pretty typical. I'm going Sabres.
Sabres matching the shoes.
Yeah, it's a little matching. I mean, I don't know.
Shout out to the Voltron shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, the Voltron. Sock check. We're going DBZ, Vegeta, Sama.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
King and Prince of all
You
Saiyans.
actually might have more Dragon Ball socks than I do.
I may have. So these were a gift from my mom. Shout out to all the moms out there.
Of
past
course.
Mother's Day. Allison Brown, she's legit. Got me some more DBZ socks and some other kind of fancier kind of design socks. I'll probably bust those out too. So it's not all just anime socks, but I'd say of my anime socks, 90% are DBZ related.
All right, stepping up the sock game. We love it. As I mentioned, we are recording this early on a Monday, or much earlier than we usually do. So we don't really have a lot to talk about in regards of LSUS because as we're recording this, they play tonight. So by the time this airs Wednesday,
hopefully it will be the championship round for them to book their spot into Idaho. We don't want to jinx the Pilots.
No,
so this is past Daniel talking about the future Pilots.
Yes.
Go Pilots.
Go Pilots. Yeah, that's it. 51-0. So we're going to have coverage of them all week on KTBS, our proper sportscast there. I don't really have a rant outside of just a piece of advice to all the people out there in this world.
Yeah.
Watch Andor.
Okay.
Star Wars, Andor, Disney Plus. My goodness, it is not just one of the best Star Wars things I've ever seen. It is one of the best shows I've ever seen. It has reignited my Star Wars passion that was waning a bit after the disaster that was The Acolyte. It is unbelievably good. Yeah. And you could go in with zero knowledge of Star Wars and just dive right into it. Dude, I have worn my friends out talking about it. I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. As we're recording this, the final 3 episodes come out tomorrow. I cannot wait. I'm going to immediately watch Rogue One after, and then I'm going to watch all the movies after that. I did my pre-work this weekend. I watched all the prequels, so I'm going straight from Andor to Rogue One to Episode 4, and we're rolling on from that. I love Star Wars. It's the best.
Yeah, Rogue One of the branched movies was my favorite Star Wars movie. I will eventually get to Andor.
Andor's better than Rogue One. And I love Rogue One. I'm not hating on it.
Yeah.
Andor is somehow better. Dude, I'm telling you.
Here's the thing. I got too many video games and anime to watch. And I just can't carve out time for Andor just yet. I mean, bro, Gundam just came out with a new series. It's airing on Amazon Prime. I got to watch the sub and the dub.
I understand all of it.
And then there's Fate Grand Order. Shout out to the Fate Grand... I got things to do, but Andor will be in my watch list at some point. A couple years from now, probably.
That's tough.
I'll get there.
That's tough. Okay,
I'll get there.
That's fine. All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. We went a little shorter than usual, but it's a weird week for us because we do need to get out to LSUS tonight. We also have high school football games coming up this week, so if you're listening to this on Wednesday, we'll still have more to go. Parkway in Minden, I believe, is Tuesday night. We'll have that. So
spring football.
Southern Classic Chicken Friday football fever is back.
It never ends. Football season's always football season.
You're dang right. Who's our next guest? I have no idea.
Somebody that's probably related to the Architects.
We'll figure that out the next time you see us. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Benchwarmers. We'll see you next week.